name is Adrian Nantchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and click the bell notification next to it for the latest uploads. Now, in England there's an old saying which is any old rope, which is indicative to suggest that people in England, in America, people in general, human psychology, they will buy any old rope. People will buy anything when there's a price tag attached to it. People will buy anything. This is an interesting concept, kind of like a level of reassurance for starting new businesses. Whenever you put a price tag on something, as long as you can justify it as well, because people will buy anything. You see, any old rope is an old saying from like 1700s England, where in the harbour towns, after sailing ships have returned, some merchants, some crafty merchants, would collect the old rope from some of the ships and put it in bags, and then they'd buy some new ropes from elsewhere and put it at the top of the bag and have the rope sticking out of the bag. So when the merchants sold these new ropes to the sailors, all the rotten bad ropes were at the bottom of the bag and all the good ropes were at the top of the bag they could see. So the idea stemmed from there. The idiom stemmed from there to say any old rope. People will buy anything. And I think when you're starting a new business, you've got to realise that no matter what it is, people will buy it. I find that getting the first sale is hard. It's always the hardest. But getting the 10th sale is easy. Getting one sale is hard. Getting 10 sales is easy. Because once you've got one sale, it proves that what you've got is people will buy. People will actually go onto the website and open up their wallet and slap out their debit card or credit card and actually put money down. They'll actually buy anything from you. A few months ago, there was a high fashion retail store in the UK that was selling bricks, solid bricks for like, I think 30 quid, 80 quid, I can't remember the exact details, 30 quid, rather expensive for a brick in some nice packaging. And I remember watching a video of someone going in a queue, excited to buy the brick, goes into the store, buys it, walks out, and is talking to the camera more or less the entire time. And then when he walks out, he takes the brick out and he says, "Look at this, 30 quid, and it looks amazing," and all the rest. And then it dawned on him, and he said, he looked at the camera, "Hang on, it's just a brick." It clicked. But the point was, he was willing to open his wallet and slap down 30 odd quid, 30 odd pounds to buy a brick. People will buy anything when you can persuade them to. When you create enough justification, enough social proof, enough authority, enough reciprocity, people will buy anything. It seems to me that there are 6 main ways of persuasion. LARCS. LARCSS. Liking, authority, reciprocity, commitment or consistency, social proof, and scarcity. So liking is, we like people that are like us, and we like people that we want to become, we aspire to be. So when we like people, we are disproportionately more likely to listen to them and ignore their flaws. Authority is simply people in authority, for example, in a high-vis jacket or in a helmet, for example, or someone who's written a book, or someone who everyone knows and everyone's heard about. Because you view them as an authority, they know what they're talking about. They're smart. Everyone respects them. You're more willing to follow them and respect them. Reciprocity is interesting because the whole world is reciprocity. The whole world is, I give you something without the expectation of getting anything back, then you will feel guilty enough to give something to me back. Give something to me. So if I give, you'll eventually be guilted into giving something back to me. So for example, if I do all these videos, if I do hundreds and hundreds of videos, you're more likely to buy something from me. Reciprocity. On the whole world, everything is reciprocity, bear that in mind. The more you give, this is important, this is something I learned in the very early days of business, the more you give, the more you're going to get back. So you have to give people enough excuses to give a shit about you and to feel guilty, and then you have to give them an excuse to thank you for what they've bought. So reciprocity, LARC, consistency or commitment. This is an interesting one because people when they say they are something, when they say they're smart or they're a genius or they know what they're doing, and especially if they publicly declare that, you can play on that. You can play on that because if someone is not acting in the way that everyone thinks they're supposed to be, then you can play on that. One example is in London, in the underground, when people are always rushing for the trains or the tubes, and people are always in each other's way, the people that work there tend to go onto the megaphone and say, "Please make way for other passengers and all the rest." If it was me, I'd be like something like, "Hey up, Londoners, what you doing? I thought Londoners were polite and nice and got out of the way and always step to the left, but clearly not. You're showing us up in front of the foreigners and in front of the tourists. Come on, Londoners." I'm playing on the reputation. That's it. Play on people's reputation and how they want to be perceived in the world. Because when people are, when their reputation is in threat, or when they're not behaving in the way they want to behave, and you highlight that, they're more likely to be persuaded. Social proof is simply this: everyone comes up to me, everyone says to me, "Adrian, you're amazing." People always tell me. When I go on the street, people are like, let's go for a handshake, let's go for when you sign this book, for stuff like that. Social proof is simply herd mentality. If we see loads of people going that way, we're more likely to go that way. If we see loads of people going that way, we're more likely to go that way. Like sheep. There's a video of like 20 sheep running around this car endlessly running around this car for some reason. Someone must have got scared and they all just start running constantly around the car. Because it's a herd mentality of staying alive. It's like if they're all going that way, it means that if we're attacked by a predator, we're more likely to survive. As well as if we're all going that way, it proves that it's a safe route, safe passage. So bear that in mind. But also, it's worth noting, and Mark Twain said this, it's worth noting that whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, you've got to stop and think. Because you don't want to be following the majority forever. Think for yourself. And scarcity is, there's only one of these left in the whole world. Scarcity is very scarce. You got loads of silver, not much gold, very little of Einsteintonium. It's very rare. The rarer something is, the rarer something is, the more exclusive it is, the more people want it. The more they want it. The more they want it. So make something rare. So that's the thing about any old rope, because people will buy anything, and you just have to give them enough reasons, enough excuse to actually want to buy it, and give them enough, make it easy enough for them to actually give a shit and actually to buy it. But people will buy anything. In my second business, I was selling potatoes. Potatoes, actual potato, with a message on it. And the prices ranged from like £4 to £7, including free delivery. So I gave them reciprocity. I'll give you free delivery, something for free, so they're more likely to buy it. Some people spent like £17 on a big potato. They went for £7, the £7 profit, and then they went for, they bought their own shipping. So which was priced at £7 in the actual post office, but I charged £10 for it. So £7.20 here, plus around £2.80 £2.75. That's £9.95 right there, profit from a potato. That's a hell of a markup. People will buy anything. So this is one thing I wouldn't worry about in business. People will buy something. People will buy anything. You just have to give them enough excuses, enough reason as to why they should buy it. In the potato business, it was connecting people. It was funny, something unique and memorable. And also on some of the potatoes, I'd say things like "reminded me of you." So I was demonstrating how this potato could be used in their life. So it's psychology. They see the word on a potato, "reminded me of you." Who does that remind me of? Who does that remind me of? Andrew, James, everyone else. It reminds me of someone. They'd be interested in buying a potato. I mean, oh, that potato reminds me of them. They're cool. They're weird. They'll find that funny. I like this. Let's go for it. Putting confirmation bias already. I'm putting the idea in their head. Oh yeah. Oh. Just give them enough excuses. Give people enough excuses, and they'll buy anything, any old rope. It's quite remarkable when it comes to human psychology. Now the question of the day is, what What transactions do you regret in hindsight? What things do you regret buying in hindsight? Like that brick. Do you regret spending 30 quid on a brick? I don't really regret. I thought about this, but I don't regret anything. You could argue, just here, there are some fiction books. There's the whole collection of Game of Thrones, apart from the last two books, and I've got a big collection of Terry Pratchett and a few other books. But that's more research. I want to read those in the future and write my own fiction, write my own fictional works. So nothing that I regret particularly. Some would argue a car. It's an expensive liability, but I won't regret it. Maybe desktop computer, because I use laptop more. But what transaction do you regret in hindsight? What do you regret? And if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button below for the latest uploads, and click the bell notification next to it to get the latest upload straight to your phone. So you see me again soon. How cool is that?